Okay, today I'm going to do a review on the Target Master. It's a electronic powder dispenser, trickler. It's made in the UK, designed in the UK and sold in the UK. Website details will be up in the review as usual. It's a two-part machine. You got this one first part, which is the hopper, trickler and main brains of it, and then moving round, this is the second part. This is a sensor that actually registers when the beam scales is nearing the zero. I'll show you how that works in a minute. And they are designed to work with the these type beam scales, whether it be the RCBS one like shown here or the Lyman. They all work on a similar basis. As long as they've got beam, that's what it's designed to work for. Okay, I'll show you each individual bit now, and then we'll work through the operation of actually using it. Okay, this is the main master control panel. On the end we have a power switch, an on-off power switch. Batteries are internal. To signify whether it's on or not, there's a red light that shows on or off, like so. Okay, moving around to the front, we've got the actual funnel for the powder thrower, which will overhang over your powder catcher or scales or the pan. Underneath we have a small self-leveling device. It's screw in, screw out, usual thing. Obviously the name logo on this side, ditto. So on the back we've got the power panel. There's a jack plug here, which I'll show you what happens with that in a minute. And the two bits on the top here, you got the powder hopper. Okay, if you can see in there how these are designed like normal powder throwers. There's a hole in the pipe, and it's rifle inside like threaded, and that'll walk the powder up slowly, kernel by kernel. So it's just not smooth inside, so it doesn't rush. The powder doesn't rush up. It's threaded, so it worms its way up. Okay, and the red button, here's the actual button to start the whole operation of actually powder throwing. You turn the power on and press the red button, as I'll show you, and that'll actually start that powder throw. Okay, lid on, back on the hopper. If you're like me, you're clumsy, put your powder in the hopper, put the lid back on just in case you knock it over, spill it or whatever. Back to the jack plug. Okay, now as I said in the introduction to the video, this is a two-part machine. The other part now plugs into here, so I'll move on to that one. Here we have got the bit that actually works as the stop for the machine. It's connected to the other machine via jack plug. The main, I'll call it the main unit, provides power to this bit, and we've got one or two features on here. It's got a heavy bottom, so it's quite stable. It's quite a heavy unit. And on the front here, we've got an arm. On top, what happens is we've got an adjuster here, which actually raises and lowers the actual height of the arm, so you can match it to your arm on your scales. Right, let me just take a better picture, a close-up. So if you raise it up, raise it down, okay? Twist it in. It's on the simple thread inside, so the unit will go up and down. Right, I'll try and capture all this in camera. I've plugged the unit into the jack plug. I'll power it on. The red light is on at the front. You can't see it, but I can. Press the red button, and if you look here, you'll see a very light come on. Okay, can you just see that? I'll just turn it off, turn it back on, do it again. You can just see a light come on. That's the bit we're interested in. I'll just move the camera in a little bit closer, just see if I can focus it. Now the idea is there's a receptor in this half picking up the light beam. Okay, as your beam scales come up, they aren't designed to hit this arm, but what they're designed to do is break the light beam. Okay, thus that is what actually creates the message to stop the powder thrower. It's as basic as that. But as we all know, the most simple things are the best. So it's not actually hitting the arm here, you're actually breaking the light beam, okay? So what I'll do now is help you, well, I'll just show you how to set the whole operation up, okay? As per any operation, you set your scales to 0 first, manually. Going the wrong way. Okay. Now what you need to do is make the light source hit just below 0, so it stops just below 0, so as the last kernel is falling it will bring it up to 0, okay? I'll just move the camera yet again to get this close up and I'll show you how I set mine up. You can see roughly how it's done. The arm of the balance goes through the bridge shape, the half circle. As it comes up we know it's got to break the beam, but it's got to break the beam just slightly under 0, so when it finally rests it will be on 0. So what you need to do is turn the machine on and keep slightly adjusting the height of this via this, so you can just get the beam to break. Just let it keep slowly, put a little bit of powder in the pan so you got a little bit of balance, and adjust it minutely, sort of half a turn, quarter of a turn either way, once you've got in the rough area, so the beam breaks just below 0, so when it comes to final rest it's on 0, okay? And as it's from that on, you use the beam exactly the same way as you do any other. You dial in what weight you want, and then you go on to the operation, which I'll now show you. Okay, the first part of the operation, to turn the unit on. This will turn the trickler on. The red light comes on over here, so we know it's on and powered up. The red button here is the actual button that will start the trickling powder. We've got the powder in the hopper, okay? So there's a nice clear tube here so you can see how low you're getting. I'll put the lid on just in case you knock it over. Now my luck I will. Move them around. We've got the trickler funnel over the collector for the powder on the scales. Move them around, we've got the scales. And then we've got the cut-off system up here. And here we've got the cut-off system, okay? I'll take some close-ups in a minute, but that's just basically how we set it up. As I show you, we levelled all the scales and that. So with further to do, I will weigh one out. Okay, so the unit is on, as we can tell with the red light. For argument's sake and just speed of filming, I've set the scales up to show us we want a one grain throw, okay, 1 grain charge. So it's back to the Target Master. Start the operation. I slowly scroll in. You can now see the powder being thrown, and I'm going to take I'll do it again in a minute from the other end, so you can actually see it coming to a 0 on the scales and then the stop happening. But this is just throwing the 1 grain. I have noticed with these, like most powder tricklers, if you give them a little bit of incline so they throw a little bit heavier, it can overrun itself, so I like to keep it nice and level, as I show you with the level it, and you can now see it's stopped. And I'll take a picture from the other end. We've now reached our 0. I'll just confirm, yes, and that's on 0. So that's it from that end. I'll just move the camera and we'll do it again. Okay, we're just taking a slight aerial view for this charge, just to show you what's going on above. I've now pressed the button, it's now trickling. Once again I've set it for 1 grain, so it won't take too long. Powder is now being thrown. And as you can see, the beam balance is now starting to rise. You can just see the light on the actual indicator here, where the beam is broken to signify that the desired weight is found. As the arm comes up, it breaks the beam, doesn't it? Slowly going up. Okay, and I'll now do another one from the dead eye level with the gauge so you can see how accurate it is. Once again, I've just started the target mast and now we're looking straight on, as close as I can get it. We're weighing 1 grain again for time's sake. Powder being thrown at this moment. And you can slowly start to see the beam balance start to rise to show there's weight coming in the funnel. Up she slowly come. The scales are that sensitive you can even see the bounce of the kernels as they hit the gauge. And there you go. It rose rather quickly at the end because obviously the balance of weight hits the light beam and stops dead zero. You can now hear the powder being thrown into the powder pan. You can see the beam rising yet again. By doing it twice, and that shows just the repeatability of the whole system. Slight bounce in the arm there as the powder hitting the balance. The balance are designed that fine, and here she go. Where will she end? Dead on zero. You can't want better than that. Another nice little feature about this machine is if once you're emptying the hopper, the actual hopper size is smaller than most powder cans, so it's a simple matter of tipping it straight in, inverting it, getting it all out of the powder funnel and make sure it's all out so it's no mess, no fuss, and just getting it all in there. You might spill a little bit, but at least you won't be spilling as much as you do with any of the others, and I mean any of the others. Even the DPS with its inbuilt cleaning feature, it's a pain, but this is the simplest one I've ever used for cleaning. Okay, so that's the end review of the Target Master. As I said before, it's UK made, UK built, UK sold. Now, the one thing I haven't said, the main advantage to this is there's no external power source. So if you want to go to the range and get on a bench and have a sort of like, if you want to actually do some load development, you can actually take this with you. A lot of people may think that's unnecessary, but that does give you the option because it's self-powered. So you can literally, if you're in a tunnel range and you want to use it for the day, you can. Take your scales, take your powder, take your bullets and everything else, and take your Target Master with you. It's compact, it's a bit heavy on one bit, but it's designed like that. It's a joy to use, simple to use. I'll admit it's not as quick as maybe the DPS to actually throw powder, but it's more repeatable, more consistent, and a lot easier to use than anything I've used so far, and I've used quite a few of them. So that's me, 1966 Spud, and that's the Target Master. Thank you.